Harley Quinn Season 3 Episode 1 titled Harley Ivy. It's meant to be like a ship name, like, a lake shipping, like two people merging their names. It's meant to be like a merge of like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, and but my mouth wants to say Harvey. I know it's not the case, but it's episode 1 season 3, and this episode is I found to be a really well done opening to this brand new season. And it's been a while since we got a new season or a new episode of this show, because season 1 came out in like October of in 2019, and then like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later it's like here's season 2, and then 2020 happened, so we had to kind of wait a little bit, and it picks up right after season 2, where Harley and Ivy are a couple. They're having that kind of love dub mode where they're kind of doing all those relationship things in a Harley Quinn Ivy type of way, where they're beating up fools, but they're having sex in a hotel room. They're flying overseas and having at a cruise ship, but Harley accidentally kills someone on the cruise, and all of these things. Even the opening of them two watching a porn parody of themselves, which at the beginning I was like, I thought heroes don't do that. Well, Buzz, I thought heroes don't do that. Batman can't go down, but Harley and Ivy can. Double standards there, my friends. Double standards. Anyway, but the scene is them two watching a porn parody of themselves, and Joel shows up and is like, are you watching an adult film in the Fortune of Solitude? And I couldn't help but laugh, because it's a situation that you don't read in straightforward stories that has the Fortune of Solitude. It's like it's the Fortune of Solitude. It's kind of Krypton century. It's very zen in its form, and it's like here's something that you just don't expect. That's what it is. It's like the thing that you normally don't see happens in the show, and you laugh because it doesn't normally happen, and it's kind of that fun side of things. But why we enjoy about this episode is mainly at Harley, because Harley is like full on, like you can tell her major fear is she doesn't want Ivy to get bored of her, or thinking Ivy doesn't love her, or she has her own kind of insecurities. Because each day she's like, it's the 2-year anniversary, it's a 2-day anniversary, 3 days, 4 days, it's 6 days and 7 days and 8 and 9 and 10. Like, it's so, like, it's day 19, and you're like, Jesus. Like, I get it if you want to do like 6 months, and you want to do a year, and then it's 2 and 3 and 4, all the way to the point you get married, and then it's the anniversary of being of your marriage. But is like, Jesus, Harley has this, like, maybe there's a wish of how does this not be Joker 2.0, even though that Ivy's never going to abuse her. Ivy is never going to treat Harley like a piece of shit that Mr. J, her pudding did. Ivy is her new pudding, and it's like, you can kind of sense that, even if she's in this garden arena, and she knows that she doesn't care. Maybe she cares about plants, but not at the same level Ivy does. And she's just bored while Ivy's like, "Ooh, babe, look at this! I estimated the water, the water of the ground." And she's like, "That's great. That's great, Wed. That's great. That's great, Ivy. That's wonderful." And she's just like, can I beat someone's head in? Now, the interesting thing about the stuff with Gordon is that, because we do jump in Gordon, and Gordon's kind of the J. Jonah of the show, where he's like, I want to be mayor, But at the same time, I know Poison Ivy and Harley are not. They're criminals. They're criminals, I say. And that's kind of thing. Like, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see how that forms and shapes. I mean, it's 10 episodes. They have probably plenty of time to, in the 22-minute format, to tell us, like, okay, this is how this happens, this is how this happens, this is how we are able to shape it through. And you get introduced to Amanda Waller and the Suicide Squad. I kind of laughed that they picked the 2016 designs of like Enchantress, which my guess now, you know how like every time there's a comedic version of Bane sounds like Tom Hardy from Dark Knight Rises. I'm wondering now that anytime we have a comedic version of the Suicide Squad, it's going to be the 2016 versions. Like, it's the Will Smith Deadshot. It's the Enchantress from that movie. It's Killer Croc from that movie. But again, Killer Croc he's a crocodile in this show. So but it does feel like, okay, they're taking the piss out of that movie by having the designs of those versions of those characters in said film. But I'm looking forward to the season. I thought it's a very solid episode. It's all driven for me, the invested side of things, the stuff that made me caring about this season. So by only one episode is Ivy and Harley, and see that election grows and see what will trip them up, and what's going to be the hurdles and the obstacles and all those things that revolves around them. That's going to drive the show forward.